Okay, I'm sure you remember this. The comic that disappointed me more than any other thing. Matter of fact, it almost made me just quit wanting to record stuff. But I got to thinking about it, and this would be a good comic to use for showing you how to do different things. In particular, how to do a repair. And we're going to do a very minor one today. I'm going to fix this top spine split. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'll make several videos working this. First thing I've got to do is take out the interior. And really, there's a few tools that you need to do this. One, this is called a bone. I can't remember the name of it, but it's supposed to be made of bone. I think this one is made of hard plastic. And the second one is mending tissue. You have two things. I started using this to repair some of the tears in some of the older hardback books that I find. I really should flatten this out, and doing that would be to press the cover. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I have another tool here that I use quite often. This is actually a sculpting tool that I use for miniatures, but it's good for getting in there and pulling over folded pieces. And I think that's folded over. Yeah, I was right. It was folded over. And then I can use to press it down just a little bit so that it'll stay there. Yeah, I need to iron this. I say iron. Basically, I need to press it. So I will be cutting that part of the video out because I'm not ready to show you how to do that yet. And there are other videos that talk about pressing comics and stuff like that. But I need to have this flat. I can't have it coming up like that. I need to have it completely flattened. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to cut that part of it out. Okay, it may not look like it, but it's a lot flatter now. And I had to take out my cutting board because it turns out my cutting board is slightly warped, and that was making it stick up a little far. Cutting board isn't necessary. That's what I do most of my work on. I don't actually cut anything on it. At least I never have. I have another one that I use that I use for cutting things on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of my tissue, mending tissue. I'm going to pull it out, and I just need enough to go across the area that I want to fix. And I use scissors to cut this. And you got to be pretty careful with this stuff because it sticks, and when it sticks, it's stuck. Now I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because we are missing part here, and I don't want the tape or the mending tissue to stick out past that. So we'll go right to here. And then I'll just run it right down, right over where the staple hole is, and then use this to smooth it in. And as you can see, when I turn it over, it's very difficult to even tell that it had a split at all. Of course, when I make up my new label for the my light that this eventually will go in, aside from having the fact that it's missing the centerfold on the label, I'll also have that the spine splits were repaired and that it was reattached to the cover, because I do intend to reattach it to the cover at a later date. So that's how I repair a spine split. And like I said, this is a repair. It absolutely would be considered restoration by most people, even though it's technically nothing more than a repair. I'm putting a pH neutral mending tissue on it in order to conserve it, in order to keep the tear from getting even worse, which it's hard to get any worse than what these already are. So that's step one in the in repairing this. I would like to say, if anybody has a centerfold for this comic, please get in touch with me. I would love to have it. If you don't have a centerfold, but you do have a comic, and you would scan those 4 pages and get that to me, you know, I would have no problem whatsoever in maintaining this in my collection as a by just inserting that page, not putting it in with the staples, but just having it inserted into the center so that at least I could read through it and it would be complete. Now the Catwoman story is complete. I read that the other day. It's just, I'm disappointed by the rest of it. It was one of my favorite comics, you know, that I had picked up, and I had never even bothered reading it. I'd never bothered checking it. And that's why it's so important. It's upside down because it's facing me, and I have the camera, the way the camera sits is upside down to me. But I never bothered reading it. That was annoying. The camera got off on me. Right in the middle of a sentence. But what I was saying is that's why it's so important to count the pages when you get a new comic. Had to check to make sure it was recording. If you don't count the pages, you don't know if it's complete, and you could end up like me 25 years later. You don't know, did I get the comic through a collection? Did I buy it on the internet? Did I buy it from a dealer? You just don't know how you came about having it because it was so long ago. So every comic you get, check to see if it's complete. I cannot stress that enough. That's the most important thing you can do when you get a comic. So I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little foray into comic book repair, and hopefully I'll get better at using this camera I just got. Talk to you on the next video. Bye.